All right, so let's jump right in. If you've ever tried building software with AI, you know the feeling, right? It can get, well, a little chaotic. You've got this clear idea in your head, but the AI just keeps dragging you down these totally random rabbit holes. But what if there was a better way, a more structured way? Today, we're going to look at a new method that's all about turning that random guesswork into a real, predictable engineering process.
And, to really get the solution, we've got to first put a name to the problem. And there's this term floating around that just perfectly captures that messy, frustrating feeling so many of us have had with AI.
So what is this thing called vibe coding? Yeah, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's that whole process of just throwing prompts at an AI, crossing your fingers, and just hoping it, gets the vibe of what you're trying to build. No real plan, just vibes.
Okay, to put a slightly more formal definition on it, it's when you use these really imprecise prompts to get code. And what happens? Well, you get random, unpredictable results that are almost never what you actually wanted. You're not really guiding the AI, you're just kind of poking it and hoping it wanders in the right direction.
And man, Dan Delamorsky from GitHub just hit the nail on the head with this quote. It's that feeling, You spend hours going back and forth iterating, and what you end up with is just a ghost of what you actually wanted. It's not just inefficient, it's seriously demoralizing.
So, how do we get out of this mess? Well, it's all about a big shift in mindset. We need to go from vibe to spec. And that's exactly where this new open source toolkit comes into play. It's called GitHub Spec Kit, and it's designed to bring some much-needed structure to all that chaos.
The main idea here is actually pretty simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. Instead of just winging it with vibes, you create a super clear, written-down understanding of what you're building. Before the AI even touches a single line of code, it's a total shift. Plan first, then and only then execute.
This whole approach really stands on three main pillars. First up, you've got the Constitution. Think of these as the unbreakable high-level rules for your project. Things like, we will always use this framework, or absolutely no server-side code. Then you have the specification. This is all about the what and the why, the product requirements from a user's point of view. And finally, there's the plan. This is the nitty-gritty technical blueprint that lays out how you're actually going to build it.
Now, one of the most important things to get here is the separation between the specification and the plan. It's kind of like this. The specification is the architect talking to the client about the vision, right? What the building should feel like, what it needs to do. The plan, on the other hand, is the super detailed engineering blueprint, the one that lists the exact materials and how it's all put together. And keeping those two separate, that is absolutely key.
All right, so theory is one thing, but let's see how this actually works in the real world. We're going to start with what's called a greenfield project. That just means we're building something totally from scratch. And for our example, we'll build a modern website for a podcast.
So here's the workflow, to step by step. First, the developer lays down the law with the project's constitution. After that, they write up a specification for what they want to build. The AI then jumps in and helps create a technical plan based on that spec. Finally, that plan gets broken down into smaller, doable tasks, and only then do you let the AI loose to actually start writing the code.
And here, you can see exactly how the developer gives their input. For the Constitution, they just set some bare minimum rules for a static web app. Then, using a command like specify, they lay out exactly what pages the site needs, a landing page, an episodes page, and so on. Then, with /plan, they get specific about the tech stack. Use Next.js, make it a static site, no databases. See? Every step is a clear, direct instruction for the AI to follow.
So the AI takes all these structured inputs, right? It breaks down the entire job into little individual tasks and just starts knocking them out one by one. And then, after all that automation, you get that ta-ta moment where you finally see the result.
And bam! There it is. A complete, fully functional website. It's got the landing page with a featured episode, a page with all the episodes, an about page, an FAQ, everything. Every single thing that was asked for in the specification got built, and it followed all the technical rules from the plan perfectly. This is the exact opposite of vibe coding. It's predictable, it's structured, it's engineering.
Okay, building from a blank slate is one thing. But the real test, is when you have to work with an existing codebase, what we call a brownfield project. So let's see how SpecKit does when we try to add a new feature to an old, established blog that was built with Hugo.
So the challenge is this. Add a new reading list page to the blog. But, and this is the crucial part, it has to fit in seamlessly with the site's existing theme and structure.
You can't just slap a new component on there. It has to look and feel like it belongs, respecting the way this site has been built for the last decade.
Okay, now this is where the collaboration part gets really cool. Instead of just taking a wild guess, the AI actually asks a question. It uses a command called /clarify to point out something fuzzy in the spec. It noticed that the developer forgot to say how the books should be sorted. It's not just a tool anymore, it's acting like a proactive member of the team.
And so the developer, who is the essential human in the loop here, just gives the answer. They use their specific knowledge of the project to make a critical product decision. And that decision then guides the AI to do the right thing. See, the goal here isn't to replace the developer at all. It's to make their expertise go further, to make them way more effective.
Get this, the AI can even analyze its own work for problems. In this example, it ran an analyze command and figured out that its plan for storing data didn't really match how Hugo normally does things. It flagged this for the developer to fix before writing any code, which probably saved a ton of headaches and rework later on.
And check out the final result, a perfectly integrated reading list. It's got the currently reading section, the star ratings, the must-read badges, all those little details that were hammered out during that back-and-forth clarification process. And the best part? The style is totally consistent with the rest of the site. It seriously looks like it's been there from day one.
So let's kind of zoom out for a second and think about what this all means. This is way more than just a new tool, right? This could be a whole new way for developers and AI to work together. We're moving past just simple code completion and into a real, structured partnership focused on a shared goal.
When you boil it all down, what we're talking about is a move away from the chaos and guesswork of vibe coding and toward the predictable, structured world of spec-driven development. You're basically trading in those frustrating random rabbit holes for a clear, repeatable, and honestly, more professional way of building things.
And in this new model, the developer is anything but a bystander. They're the architect. They're the product manager. They are that crucial human in the loop. It's their expertise that sets the constitution, that defines the specification, and that makes all the key decisions that point the AI in the right direction.
And this quote right here points to maybe one of the biggest long-term wins of doing it this way. Because the specification, the what and the why, is totally separate from the how, it becomes incredibly reusable. Just think about it. 5 years from now, maybe you want to ditch Hugo and move to some brand new framework. Well, you could take the exact same spec and just ask the AI to generate a whole new plan and all new code for that new tech. Your core product requirements can actually outlive your implementation.
So all of this really leaves us with a big, fascinating question to think about. As these AI tools get crazier and crazier powerful, is this kind of structured, spec-driven way of working going to become the new normal? Is finally leaving the vibes behind and embracing clear, thought-out plans, is that the real key to unlocking what's possible when we build software with AI?